explanation.
And today in my video, I am going to show you beautiful UNESCO sites of Scotland, which becomes the first country in the world to bring together its 13 UNESCO sites into one digital trail. Number 1. Wester Ross UNESCO Biosphere. This biosphere is 3000 square miles in size and situated in the northwest of Scotland. Most of Wester Ross is covered by open heathland, bare rock, scree, and wet grassland with scattered bogs and peatlands. The area is characterized by isolated mountains and fast-flowing rivers. The open coasts of Wester Ross are partly sheltered by the islands of Raasay and Skye in the south, and the island chain of the Western Isles across the Midge. This biosphere is home to approximately just over 8,000 people and a destination for around 70,000 visitors each year. Attracted to the vast areas of high-quality natural landscape, contemporary culture, rich cultural heritage, which includes a range of Neolithic archaeological sites as well as traditional activities such as crafting and Gaelic music. Galloway and Southern Ayrshire UNESCO Biosphere. Covering 5,268 square kilometers of southwest Scotland, the area centers on the hills and moors of the Merrick, which were originally formed by glaciers. The biosphere is natural playground full of outdoor adventure and geological wonders, which was once home to Stone Age people, Roman soldiers, Viking settlers, and the earliest Christian community in the Scotland. This spot is world famous for its gold standard dark skies. Landscape mosaic in the area comprise uplands, moorlands, meres, woodlands and forests, farmland, river valleys, coast and shorelines. Explore the Galloway and Southern Ayrshire biosphere and discover the untouched coastlines and deep woodlands and forests, all providing habitats for a rich diversity of plants and wildlife. Number 3. Glasgow. UNESCO Creative City. Glasgow is the first ever UNESCO City of Music. It doesn't take long to realize that music is the beating heart of this city. Glasgow is a vibrant city with a legendary music scene across a variety of venues that stretches across the whole spectrum from contemporary to classical and Celtic to country. It is famed for the enthusiasm and energy for its audience, which is no surprise venue here. You will find some of the UK's most prestigious classical music and performing arts institutions, a plethora of independent music stores and buskers performing daily on the city centre streets. Glasgow can boast world-class artists and venues across genres, from rock and pop to classical and electronica, and is also home to the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland. Glasgow also has the country's highest density of higher education institutes, offering music courses as well as the largest population of music students. A welcoming, cooperative and vibrant place where anyone can stand side by side and make a personal connection through a shared love of music. Number 4. Dundee. City of Design UNESCO Creative City. Once renowned throughout the world for its textile and shipbuilding industries, the city has since transitioned into cutting-edge, integrative hub of design, making strides in fields as diverse as medical research, fashion, the gaming industry, tech space, and more. Dundee has 2 world-class universities. The University of Dundee boasts Duncan of Jordan Stone School of Art and Design, and Aberdeen University specializes in digital design and is a world leader in computer games teaching and research. Today, Minecraft, the number 1 game in the world, is made for console there. Comic book graphic design has been part of what Dundee does for decades. From the groundbreaking digital design program at the University of Aberdeen to the city's flourishing culture quarter, the home of the famous Dundee Rap Theatre, to fantastic visitor attractions like Verdant Works, which preserves the city's industrial past. Dundee's championing of design and creativity is everywhere in the world. Number 5. Edinburgh, City of Literature UNESCO Creative City. Storytelling and the written word has been the life force of Edinburgh's art and culture for centuries. Its contributions to the world of literature are so rich and well recognized that Edinburgh became the world's first UNESCO City of Literature. The English department of the University of Edinburgh is the oldest in the world at 250 years, and the Scottish Poetry Library on the Royal Mile is the world's only purpose-built library dedicated to poetry. Edinburgh is the birthplace and home to world-famous writers, poets, and playwrights including Sir Walter Scott of Waverley, Arthur Conan Doyle of Sherlock Holmes, and J.K. Rowling of Harry Potter. The Edinburgh International Book Festival is the world's largest literary festival of its kind, lasting for 2 weeks each August. The festival welcomes around 800 authors from nearly 40 countries. In 1725, the world's first circulating library opened in the city. No matter where you find yourself in the city, you are never far from somewhere or something connected to a famous author, unforgettable verse, or classic text. Edinburgh's literary places and attractions have something to appeal to visitors of all kinds. Number 6. Shetland's UNESCO Global Geopark. Shetland's volcano, active 395 million years ago, now forms one of the world's highest energy coastlines at Eshannes. This global geopark consists of a group of over 100 islands, 15 of which are inhabited. The islands you see today of Shetland have been on an incredible geological journey. This land has literally traveled from near the South Pole across the equator to its current spot at the crossroads of the North Atlantic and the North Sea. The geology of the islands influences every part of life. They provide a home for unique biodiversity, and they influence human settlements, their activities, and their industries. Shetland is like a giant geological jigsaw, each with a different history. Some of these rocks range from 3 billion to just over 300 million years, and their variety has influenced the diverse natural and cultural heritage of the islands. Shetland's rocks and landscape are impressive to look at, but a little interpretation reveals the fascinating stories behind them. Explore the Shetland's Geopark, and you will discover not just the story of the islands, but the story of how the world has formed and changed over millions of years. Number 7. Northwest Highlands UNESCO Global Geopark. Stretching over 2,000 square kilometers in the far corner of mainland Scotland, this geopark is a striking example of different rock geologies. It is home to 3 billion year old rocks and also home to the earliest evidence of life to be found anywhere in Europe. But the geopark is not just about incredible science, it is also about beauty. Think white sandy beaches, rocky mountains, ridges, atmospheric rock cave and grass, peatlands, moors and forest. Geologists, scientists, and hundreds of geology students from all around the world came here to learn how the earth was made. Drawn by some of the world's oldest rock formation and features like Mohin Trust Zone, a seismic geological event which caused a huge fracture in the Earth's crust over 400 million years ago. The area also has many historic sites, ranging from Iron Age defensive towers, remains of Norse settlements, to castles and houses related to the Lordship of the Isles. This global geopark territory hosts a wide range of rock formation covering 2/3 of the Earth's history. Number 8. St. Kilda UNESCO World Heritage Site. It is a set of islands where a beautiful natural habitat has been able to develop and adapt over millions of years, then providing support for a community and culture to grow over thousands of years. This remote archipelago is the part of Outer Hebrides Islands, sitting to the northwest of Northwest. Its unique geographical position and oceanic climate allow it to support a dazzling array of interdependent ecosystems. This World Heritage Site is 95% marine, and the seabird colonies are the most important in the Northeast Atlantic, with nearly 1 million seabirds present at the height of the breeding season. It is a dramatic landscape sculpted over millions of years by powerful geological, glacial, and oceanic activity, in addition to 2000 years of human activity. This landscape abandoned by the entire community in 1930. Now St. Kilda is inhabited by just a few staff members of the National Trust for Scotland and Ministry of Defence and few researchers. But those wishing to extend their day trip to the island can book into the short-term campsite on the largest island of Harta, which accommodates up to 6 people. Number 9. Heart of Neolithic Orkney UNESCO World Heritage Site. It is an archaeological site which marks the dawn of human culture in Europe, dating back at least 5,000 years. You will see here 4 incredibly well-preserved new Stone Age sites, which all offer unparalleled insight into one of Scotland and Europe's earliest civilizations. It brings together 4 key sites near Stromness on the Orkney mainland. Skara Brae, a domestic settlement where you can still see the surviving stone walls, passageways, and stone furnishings including beds and dressers. Maeshowe. This chamber tomb is an extraordinary example of Neolithic architecture. It is designed so that the light of the setting sun at the winter solstice focuses on the narrow passageway. The stones of Sturness. The circle and henge is a very early example of this type of monument. The surviving stones are enormous, standing up to 6 meters tall. The Ring of Brodgar, a great stone circle about 130 meters across. It is surrounded by a rock-cut ditch and sits in a spectacular setting, a natural amphitheater of inlets and hills. It is an outstanding example of architecture that illustrates a significant stage in human history, a time when the first large ceremonial monuments were built. Number 10. Old and New Towns of Edinburgh, UNESCO World Heritage Site. Edinburgh has been the Scottish capital since the 15th century. It has 2 distinct areas, the Old Town dominated by medieval fortress and the neoclassical New Town, whose development from the 18th century onwards had a far-reaching influence on European urban planning. The harmonious juxtaposition of these 2 contrasting historic areas, each with many important buildings, is what gives the city its unique character. The contrast between the organic medieval Old Town and the planned Georgian New Town of Edinburgh provides a clarity of urban structure unrivaled in Europe. The New and Old Town of Edinburgh embody everything which makes the city world famous. From the curated skyline of the medieval Old Town with its towering medieval tenements to the neat and ordered grid of the neoclassical New Town, a new discovery is waiting to be made each way you turn. Number 11. New Lanark UNESCO World Heritage Site. It was a place where 2 men oversaw social reform with policy like an 8-hour working day, an end to child labor, and free medical care for workers in the mine. The cotton mine was in operation for 2 centuries from 1785 to 1968, and at one time was thought to be the largest industrial facility in the world. It became the world-famous blueprint for what could be the ideal working and living environment for workers and their families. New Lanark was founded by David Dale and Richard Cockright in 1785, but it was under Robert Owen that the site really became famous. Owen instituted a wide range of workplace, social and educational reforms that led to the idea of the New Lanark as an ideal community and him as a socialist. The village offered a cultural response to the challenges presented by industrial society and was a testbed for the ideas that sought to improve the human condition around the world. Number 12. Frontiers of Roman Empires, the Antonine Wall, UNESCO World Heritage Site. Stretching 60 km from coast to coast, this mighty fortification was built on the orders of Emperor Pius in 142 AD. and was one of the most ambitious constructions of ancient time. It was never a stone wall, but consisted of a rough rampart fronted by a wide and deep ditch. When completed, this formidable border was manned by 17 forts and patrolled by 7,000 soldiers hailing from all corners of the empire. It was not just the Roman Empire's most northerly frontier, it was also one of the civilization's most sophisticated military constructions, as it exploits the defensive features of the landscape it runs through, using high ridges and steep drops to create a formidable barrier. With many well-preserved sites to visit along the wall's length, visitors can gain a vivid glimpse of the ingenuity of Roman infrastructure. Today there are many places where you can see the remains of this sophisticated structure, which was essential to the survival of the Roman Empire's most northerly colony. And the last, number 13, the Forth Bridge, UNESCO World Heritage Site. UNESCO's most recent Scottish site is one of the most iconic bridges in the world. The Forth Bridge is the world's longest ever cantilever bridge, and despite being built in 1882, still transports over 200 trains each day, spanning 2,529 meters in length and is standing over 100 meters above the Firth of Forth. This red railway bridge represents a seminal moment in the history of engineering. Officially opened in 1890, the bridge is still an awe-inspiring sight more than 130 years on. The main structure of the bridge contains about 54,000 tons of mild steel and is held together by over 6 million rivets. It was the first major engineering structure in the world to be built from mild steel. Innovative in design, materials and scale, the Forth Bridge is an extraordinary and impressive milestone in bridge design and construction during the period when railway come to dominate long-distance land travel. The Forth Bridge is the culmination of its typology, scarcely repeated but widely admired as an engineering wonder of the world. If you like my video, then please hit the like button, share my video and subscribe my channel.